Dillian Whyte has welcomed a battle with rival WBC contender Dominic Breazeale. Now, this is not the first time that Dillian Whyte's name has been linked to a fight against Breazeale. Breazeale is the WBC mandatory, but the WBC appear to make their rules up as they go along, because even though Breazeale's WBC mandatory and he's been waiting for his shot for well over a year now, Tyson Fury has come and leapfrogged Dominic Breazeale, and he's been now mandated to fight Deontay Wilder in a rematch. So, I mean, the WBC literally make the rules up as they go along. Absolutely extraordinary the way they run their organization. So anyway, Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale would be the number one contender in Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale, who's the mandatory challenger, even though he's ranked several places below Dillian Whyte. The winner, you would assume, would have to get a guaranteed shot at the WBC belt at some stage. Perhaps it would be the back end of 2019 at the very earliest, depending on what happens with Wilder Fury, the rematch, if that fight goes ahead. There has been speculation that Dillian Whyte might want to part ways with Eddie Hearn and join PBC. We know that Dominic Breazeale is a PBC fighter. However, in this article, Dillian Whyte says, where is it now? Let me find the bit that I'm looking for. It says here, I definitely want to fight Breazeale. It doesn't need to be PBC. It could be Matchroom and Sky Sports. If he wants to fight, we can fight. It's an easy fight to make. Let's make it. Let's do it end of April, early May. I will fight him in America, but what can he offer me to come to America? I'll offer him more to come to the UK. So let's be realistic. If this fight is going to take place in the UK, that's going to mean Dillian Whyte is almost certainly staying with Sky and Matchroom. Yes, PBC have a box office platform in the UK, ITV box office, but that platform has not been built up to the level of a Sky box office as yet. And so you're just not going to do anywhere near the same kind of numbers on ITV box office as you will do on Sky Sports box office. Dillian Whyte is a smart guy. Dillian Whyte knows that. He knows that, you know, business-wise, it's going to be far better to fight Dominic Breazeale on Sky rather than on ITV. In the United States, is there the possibility that Al Heyman says, you know what, let me try and poach Dillian Whyte. Let me pay Dillian Whyte an incredible amount of money to fight Dominic Breazeale in the US. Let me lure him. Let me pull some millions out the pocket, guarantee him, and take him away from Eddie Hearn. Because, don't get it twisted, Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman are fierce rivals at this point, both in the American market and the UK market. That would be a power move by Al Heyman to offer Dillian Whyte, let's say, a flat fee, a huge flat fee to fight Dominic Breazeale in the United States. And then he could set the winner of that fight up to take on Deontay Wilder. This is something which I didn't explore in the other video I did regarding Dillian Whyte potentially going to PBC. This is something I didn't explore. But to be fair, I guess that's a possibility. But Al Heyman would need to come out of pocket and pay Dillian Whyte a hell of a lot of money when Dillian Whyte is really not known in the United States. He's not a big name like that. Neither is Dominic Breazeale. So you would imagine if Al Heyman comes out of pocket and pays Dillian Whyte X amount of millions in order to sign him and have him fight in the US against Breazeale, Al Heyman will be losing a lot of money on that show. Is he willing to do that just to get, a contender to fight Deontay Wilder if Wilder still has his belt after the Fury rematch, if that takes place? These are the questions you have to ask yourselves. But short of that happening, I don't see any incentive for Dillian Whyte to leave Matchroom Sky Sports and go and sign with PBC. I don't see any incentive short of something like that happening. Unless Dillian Whyte really doesn't want this Anthony Joshua fight. And that's a question. Does Dillian Whyte really want the AJ fight right now? I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. He's exploring the Dillian Whyte fight. If I had to guess, and if I had to assess Dillian Whyte's behavior and his body language and all that kind of stuff in interviews, to me, it seems as though Dillian Whyte would much rather fight Deontay Wilder than Anthony Joshua. I personally believe that Dillian Whyte thinks that Deontay Wilder is an easier fight. So he'd much rather fight Wilder than AJ because he sees it as more winnable. He's lost to AJ before. He knows he could lose to AJ again. I know he's improved as a fighter, and I know he's built himself up in terms of his confidence and his fitness and his strength, etc., and his technique. He's improved since the first AJ fight. But he also knows that AJ's improved too. So does Dillian Whyte really want to fight AJ now? I know he's talking about low ball offers and stuff like that. Eddie Hearn is disputing this notion that Dillian Whyte has been offered less to fight AJ than he got for Chisora. Eddie Hearn is disputing that. So who do you believe? Does Dillian Whyte really want the AJ fight? Or is he looking to go a different route and continue making these millions in box office fights against people who are nowhere near as good as AJ? Hoping to somehow force that shot at either Deontay Wilder or Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, depending on if that rematch takes place and who wins. Because Dillian Whyte claims he dropped Tyson Fury multiple times in sparring many years ago. Tyson Fury has never categorically denied it. Contrary to what some Fury fanboys say, he's never denied it. I've looked at certain tweets. Tyson Fury has never denied it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's true. Yeah, if Dillian Whyte did drop Tyson Fury multiple times in sparring, look, if Nevin Pikage can drop Tyson Fury around the same time that Whyte was sparring Fury, that's right after Fury's fight against Nevin Pikage, where he got dropped. If Pikage can drop him, Dillian Whyte can drop him, no question. So, in Dillian Whyte's mind, he probably sees Tyson Fury as a difficult fight, but not a fight where he's likely to get knocked out. That's probably what he thinks in his mind. I'm not saying Tyson Fury definitely can't knock Dillian Whyte out. I'm just saying that's what I think Dillian Whyte's mindset is. In his head, he's thinking, there's no way Fury can knock me out, but I can hurt him, and I will get to him. That's probably what Dillian Whyte thinks. So, if Fury gets the WBC belt, I'm sure Dillian Whyte will be desperate to fight Fury for that WBC strap. And if Wilder keeps hold of it, well, you've heard what Dillian Whyte thinks about Wilder. Yeah, he can punch, but the guy's technique is all over the place. I can expose that. AJ's much better technically than somebody like Deontay Wilder. I can get to Wilder more easily than I can get to AJ. Perhaps that's what he's thinking. Either way, would you guys like to see a Dillian Whyte Dominic Breazeale fight? I mean, I wouldn't mind it. You know, it's a cool fight, and it would certainly get Dillian Whyte closer to a shot at a WBC belt. But again, how long would he be waiting for that mandatory shot? Given the fact that Tyson Fury has leapfrogged him at this point in the pecking order for you know, getting WBC title shots. Would he be waiting at least to the end of 2019? Would he be waiting to 2020? Who knows? One thing I can say is that Dillian Whyte will certainly get a shot at the WBC belt a lot quicker if he fights Dominic Breazeale than he would if he fought Luis Ortiz. Because if he fought Luis Ortiz, he'd become the second mandatory. In all truth, in all reality, it would be the third mandatory at this point, because regardless of what the WBC are calling Tyson Fury, he is functionally the new mandatory, the new first mandatory, because he's just been mandated to fight Wilder. So functionally, practically, Tyson Fury is the current mandatory. Breazeale is the second mandatory. And if Luis Ortiz was to fight, let's say, Dillian Whyte, that would become a third mandatory, and Whyte would probably wait, 3 years to get his shot or something ridiculous like that. And the WBC are known for doing nonsense like that. I mean, you look at Alida Alvarez. He was waiting so long for his WBC title shot against Adonis Stevenson that he abandoned it and went for a different belt instead against Sergey Kovalev because he was just being made to wait for a ridiculously long time. So, obviously, if you're Dillian Whyte, you're looking to fight Breazeale rather than Luis Ortiz because you want your shot sooner rather than later, don't you? Of course you do. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How would a Whyte-Breazeale fight go if it does take place? Does Dillian Whyte really want to fight Anthony Joshua or not? I personally think Dillian Whyte would beat Dominic Breazeale. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a tough fight. Dominic Breazeale is a tough man. But I would pick Dillian Whyte in there. I think he's faster. I think he is a more skilled boxer. But Dominic Breazeale would definitely bring the heat. He would definitely put a lot of pressure on Dillian Whyte. And Breazeale can punch. You know, Breazeale's not feather-fisted by any means. Very slow. Very easy to hit. But he can punch. And he's tough. We know he's as game as they come, Dominic Breazeale. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about everything I talked about in this video. It's happening, I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.